So
I feel
Okay.
like I should introduce everybody else. I should
Please.
be like our guest.
Please.
Our guest. Savbert and Chef Beadle.
all right. Start from the top. Go.
Uh welcome. I'm gonna say the same exact thing. Welcome to the Minorities podcast, arguably the greatest podcast on the planet. I'm your host, Isaiah, aka Savzayy, with my co-host Daniel, aka Peace and Order. And
What up?
today we have our two very lovely guests, Roberto, or Savbert, as you may know him as the famous Twitch streamer,
Hey, follow me
and
on Twitch, bro. Follow me on Twitch.
and Anthony, aka Chef Beadle, the person who is going to end world hunger.
Follow my Instagram.
Oh, dang it! Oh, God.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm feeling
Yo, you
good.
ever like
I'm doing
world
alright.
hunger? Like that shit's really never gonna end, bro.
It really is.
It's crazy because
I
it's
can
so
try
easy
my
to
best.
do it too. All you need is that one Jeff Bezos just needs to, just give a quarter of his profits. We can end the world hunger, man.
But hey, it's not his moral obligation.
Yeah,
to do so.
yeah. I don't want to hear that bullshit. I hear that shit all the time. Billionaires, moral obligation. Come on.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Alright. Let's lock it in. Let's lock
You
it in.
good? Today, let's get right into it. We're just gonna have a little simple conversation. For those of you listening and don't know who we are very close friends of, I would say, I don't know, like 7 years. But I feel like sometimes we don't dive deep enough into understanding who each of us really are. And so today we're gonna explore that just a little further. we're gonna explore that just a little further.
Alright.
So the first thing that I wanted to touch on is how we all know each other, because I definitely don't ever remember the very first time I met Anthony or Daniel, and yet we're very close. I'm kind of wondering how our friendship started. Maybe where
I can start. Cause
Yeah, go ahead, man. I miss them days.
This was back in was this middle school?
Yeah, where are we now?
I think so.
Should probably say where we are now.
Well, we're
all college students, all of us.
I'm not.
We're all sophomores in college.
Yeah, it started, I think, in middle school a little bit. My older sister, Veronica, she was, friends with all these, nerds and losers. And Isaiah and Roberto fell under that category. And
excuse me?
I was, a nerd as well. And I was, a loser, just played video games all the time. And,
Oh, he's trying to make us feel better.
And, they all got a liking to me because I was kind of the quiet one. I was in the background all the time, but I still had the same interests as them. So every time we had those small conversations, we would just talk about video games and stuff, and created a mini relationship through that. And then once we moved into high school, we started hanging out a lot more, and I started having them as friends and not just through my sister. And then we used to have hangouts all the time, and there were moments where Roberto and Isaiah used to basically live in my house for a summer. You guys were there all the time, and you guys slept over all the time. It was lit.
That's tough, bro.
That was a good time.
Yo, what was that, Anthony?
But yeah, the first time I met Anthony. Well, no, I honestly don't remember how I remember Anthony, but one distinctive memory of the earliest times was Arbor, or during those times, or early middle school, I forgot. And we were playing chess. Chess was a big thing back then. I don't know why. And
Y'all
me and
became
Oliver used to
friends
go
over
at it
chess.
before school started. It was just some Asian kid that like everyone knew, and Anthony
Because of
was
his
just
chess
there.
skill.
No, he wasn't that good at chess. We were both bad. And then I remember Anthony used to be so silent, but like he was just always in the back, and I used to like flinch every time I saw him because he was just like, "Whoa, he's just standing there and he's scared." That's like my first memory of him. And then I don't know how we started talking. He's just kind of always been in my life at that point.
It was like I came over one day, I remember, and like I met you, like officially, and then like it was like I think Roberto was just like, oh, this is the was it Creepers Play COD, the old gamer tag or whatever, because you didn't like know my like name, and like it was that you were like the best person, like gaming wise, and I was like up there
Now
with
that's
you.
cap.
Okay, no,
That
it's
one
not.
right there is cap.
Like we were like basically like our rivals between each other, and we used to like always play.
There was a serious rivalry at one point, like back in like Black Ops 3 days. That it got heated.
Yeah.
It got intense, but we'll get back to that later.
More on that after this commercial. I couldn't like think of the word. It wasn't as slick as I wanted it to be. Anyway.
All right, let me go next.
All right, go.
You don't speak.
Nice.
Man,
All right, so all right, let's deep dive into it. It shows our name in the little Discord things. I thought it didn't do that. Oh, when you hover over it, it shows it.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's inside baseball. We don't need to talk about that. Too much inside baseball. So, I'm gonna start with Anthony. I think I remember specifically how I met like each and every one of you guys, and Anthony he's kind of, I would say he's like a basic one, because a lot of my friends on Xbox, a lot of my friends today I met over Xbox, just like a random person, and Anthony was one of them. I remember playing Black Ops 2 one day with Ryan, and I think it was just Ryan and Chaz, and one day Chaz just invited like 6 people to the party, and it was like Anthony, Andre, Rashid. These are all our other friends, and I remember vividly Anthony he just loved to complain about stuff. And he always got mad, and everyone always picked on him.
Oh,
it was like,
yeah.
Low key, it was kind of like we bullied Anthony. And
Yeah.
I look back onto it, and I'm like, damn, bro. I really met this guy, and just as soon as I met him, I was just being an asshole with everybody else towards him. And I felt like a dick, man. But we started playing Destiny together. Anthony was low-key a problem, man. He was like the only Titan in the group. He would always have his bubble up, and I just began to love him after that. After those weapons of light, I'd tell you, man.
You gotta love support, man. Always love your support.
I've never played that game.
Same.
And Anthony he just started hanging out with us a lot. He would always come to the park and play basketball with us, even though he never played basketball before. And you gotta respect a man like that, man.
True.
Man that just wants to come around and hang with his friends. That's a highly respectable guy.
I agree.
And I think we've blossomed into a great friendship. Thanks, Ant.
Yeah, y'all like best friends, best buddies. It's crazy.
Yo, I remember me and Anthony, we be joining the Xbox parties. I say one thing, this nigga just start cracking up. Just say one thing, I start cracking up. We just go back and forth for hours.
Word.
Who's next? All right, so Isaiah. I've known Isaiah probably the longest out of anyone in the minorities group.
Wait, can I say something before you continue?
Yeah, go ahead, Slime.
So our minorities group is made up of like 10 people. or probably more. It's like 13
It's like,
people,
yeah.
and they all know each other through like Xbox games or whatever. Like they all got acquainted with each other way before I became friends with any of them. But I knew Roberto before that, and it had nothing to do with video games. And I just find that really, really interesting. Like I knew Roberto so well, but I had no idea who these other people were. Like I didn't even know their names until like years and years later.
Yeah.
But you
This
can
man never
continue.
had an Xbox. That's like the craziest thing to
That's
me.
insane.
Isaiah
actually.
didn't get an Xbox till like
Until like
2018 or
junior year.
something.
Yeah. Junior year of high school.
Jeez, I
That's
didn't even know
crazy.
that. Wow.
Yeah, but we had the same bus together. It was before the bus. Was it?
No, it
it was the
wasn't because
bus.
we would play Fat Princess on our PSPs together.
So I think it was like 4th grade when we went to
Yeah.
Arbor. Isaiah was the new kid in town. Nobody,
Yeah.
he didn't know nobody. And then we were just on the bus and we just started chatting it up. And we both knew that we liked playing little DS games on the bus. And if you play DS games on the bus, you got a weird type of look
Yeah, you got looks.
from
You got
everybody.
looks.
People were looking at you like, yo, this nigga's playing a DS game. He could be shooting the shits with everybody, But me and Isaiah bonded over some Fat Princess, some Dragon Quest 9. Man, I tell you, them Dragon Quest 9 days. But yeah,
I
we just
love that game.
kept like being friends, just up and up and up and up, and it just never stopped. It's a nice friendship.
Yeah, it was weird because like I remember there were days where your like apartment was super close to our middle school, and I could like never go there, and I only went there like 3 times. I know the very first time I went there, your mom like drove up as soon as we got there, and she yelled at you because you were supposed to be there like an hour before that because you had like a dentist appointment.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
so that was like the first time I like met your mom. And then the second time was when I let you borrow one of my DS games.
Oh, shit.
And I came back for it, or like I went to your house with you and you were like, I just gotta find it. And I was like, find it? Excuse me? Where's my game? And then it was like on like an ironing board or something. And I was just like, please. Oh my. But I don't know. Those moments are always like, they're like interesting to look back on. Or like my favorite moments when I couldn't have people like inside my house if my parents weren't there. So we would just sit in my garage eating like super sugary Pop-Tarts.
Bro, them pumpkin spice shits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We just sit there, play Dragon Quest with like my garage door open.
That sounds
Yo,
good.
that ironing board, that's crazy. Iron board in the living room, it never left. It was nasty, bro. Just stay right there every morning. Just iron your clothes.
That's pretty
I
convenient.
was gonna say something. Fuck it. And then there's the last guy, Mr. Dan Ban. Daniel, I remember the first day I knew you existed. Cause like, well, I was friends with Veronica since like 6th grade. And we always talked about anime. And she watched like a bit of anime, but I knew she didn't play games. And that was like my thing. And I remember one day I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw Daniel's Instagram. It was like SBD_6. And he posted like a picture of like a stack of
Games, yeah.
like games. I forget what they're called because nobody fucking uses them anymore. Like game cases.
Yeah.
Like it was like a shit ton of games. I was like, yo, this guy plays games. And so ever since then, I was kind of interested. And then I probably didn't meet you until we went over to Ron's house one day, and then you were just like, "Oh, hey guys," and then we just clicked there. I remember me and Daniel I always had a good relationship with him because we were always two that we were interested in like weird shit,
Yeah.
like weird stupid shit. I remember we used to watch You remember H Bomber guy?
Yes, I still watch him to this day.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, he's
When
great.
we watched that Lisa playthrough or like the Lisa thing where we talked about that game.
Was so beautiful. Yeah, I
That
remember
shit was
that. Oh
amazing.
my god, yeah.
I'll never forget those nights. Like there was so many nights where it was just me and Daniel, and we're like, all right, let's watch something on YouTube, and we just watched like a 3-hour long video essay on something, and that's just like it's just how we bonded.
Yep.
I miss that.
That was great.
You
Yeah.
go to your girl's house just to hang out with the little bro.
Yo, no cap. I don't even want to get into that, but that's how it is, bro. Shout out to my boy Savriel. He's my best friend.
Jeez.
But anybody could go next. Yeah, I love that guy.
Nah, that's super cool. Cause like I think for me, Daniel and Anthony are probably like the same. I think I just met Anthony through like I don't know the word for it. I was just around him when he was around like the rest of the minorities.
Nah, it was like that little circle that we had at high school is where we met.
Oh, the mornings.
The morning meetups.
Yo,
explain
it out.
Oh
bro.
yeah.
Explain it out.
So like we all like were on like Xbox and we were like friends on Xbox, and then we like went to the same high school. Like we were in like I'm like a year younger than Roberto and Isaiah. So that group, me, Andre, Rashid, we were like in middle school while they're like their first year of high school. So when we got to high school, we like all met up somewhere, and that was by like the front door basically of like the entrance of the school, and that's where like we would all like come together. Like all the minorities would just go there, and we just like talk. And that's like how we met each other. And like I remember Isaiah. Like I really like when I first met Isaiah, I was just like, "Yo, this nigga's gonna kill me." Like,
What?
Bro, what?
like I was so scared of Isaiah because like you didn't have like you had like a whole buzz cut and like you were silent and like your eyes.
Oh yeah, Isaiah. One thing you gotta know about Isaiah got some big eyes.
Yeah, backs, like backs. I was like, yo, this man, like he was silent and he'd just be looking. I was like, yo,
Just observing.
No, y'all were. So I was kind of like looking around.
Facts. I was just like, yo, I was like, I don't even know if I want to be like associated with this man just in case. But like, nah, it wasn't even like that. Like after a while, we started talking and stuff, and like me and Isaiah became like really good friends. We like when he got his Xbox, we usually like play was like Overwatch together.
Yeah, that was my
duo
first
going on. Yeah, and that's just how we clicked. Roberto, I remember I first met Roberto like during middle school. Like this man was just outside, and there was like where she was just like, "Yo, didn't you meet Roberto?" I was like, "Roberto." I was like, "Where's this man at?"
Yeah, we niggas used to walk home from school.
Yeah. And I was like, "Where is Roberto?" And like we first made eye contact, and I was like, "Roberto," and he was like, "That's Anthony." I was just like, I was like, "Yo." I was like, "Yo, you look nothing like what I thought you looked like." And I was just this short little kid, and like all Roberto did was like laugh, and I was just like, like that's how we like first met, and then we just kicked it off on like Xbox. Like when I was younger, I was a lot more toxic, so like they bullied me to get a reaction out of it because it was just funny for them, and I was like, I didn't know any better, but like I still like got mad. I'm like mature now, so like shit doesn't happen. But
We were all kids.
yeah, so that's how me and Roberto was clicking. Daniel, I remember we used to just I remember like I said, I met you at your house, and at first I wouldn't like go over your house as often, but like over time, like me and Roberto like swap spots where I'd be living at this man's house
Yeah.
for like days on end.
Yeah, there was a period of time where like I think it was like right after you went to like your job, you'd come to my house and you just chill out for a while, and I was always dead asleep by the time you came back, and you were I would just wake up and you're just like there playing Overwatch, and I was like, oh hey. It was the funniest thing. I love that. That was great.
Where we just like had that like competition, and it was just fun because like
Yeah,
we like both acknowledge each other's like skill on the game when we were like younger, and it was just
yeah.
like I'm still better than you though. You're trash, but like
That's
we always
cat.
knew it was equal. But yeah, we had like everyone had like their own little like story, and it was like really tough on like how we all like came together, and
Yeah.
we're just like such a solid group now.
Speaking of little story, kind of plays into our next little part. Um, so I don't know. The only person who's like childhood I know like a little about would be Roberto's, but I'm like super curious about what type of like child you were because I feel like Anthony is like I you know how some people like they grow out of what they were as a kid. I feel like Roberto didn't. I feel like he's just like an older version of who he was, but he still has the same like mannerisms, which is really funny when like when in our minorities group chat that we have when people will post like old pictures or like videos of things Roberto does or did, and I'm just like, yeah, I can still see him doing that now, like just cuz. But
Word.
yeah, I'm like super curious about like what type of childhood did y'all have?
I guess I could start. I My parents were not strict at all. That's kind of like the crux of my personality. Yeah, I didn't have any restrictions. I pretty much could do whatever I want. I was a free range child. I loved every
Free
second.
reign.
I loved every second of it. I could stay up as late as I wanted to. I used to make quick check runs late at night when I was like 12 years old. It was lit. Like that lifestyle was lit. The only thing that sucked about it, I had no structure. That was the main
Yeah.
the downside of it. So I had no idea where I was going. But I kind of could experiment with things, not like that, but like I could experiment with like the things I like and like find interest more easier, and that kind of made me like my mom in a way. Like my mom was crazy, and like I guess I'm really crazy and loud, and I talk a lot, and I'm really like extreme at times, and that's part due because I could do whatever I wanted, and that's like what I fell into. But yeah, that's about it. And that my ability to do whatever I want made me love like having people over because like my parents didn't care that like friends were over constantly or like even if they weren't home like I could still have friends over and that kind of like enabled my like love to host things and
Yeah.
to have hangouts or parties, which is the reason why we're even doing this podcast in the first place is because I love like talking about things and like having people together to talk about things and in a way that kind of strengthened the group in a way because we were able to have like a bunch of these hangouts where we just play video games and just chill out and have like a lot of fun. So yeah.
That's definitely true. Your house was like a
It's
main
the hub.
spot. Yeah.
It's like our it's like the tower in
Yeah.
Destiny. Child play Destiny. Yeah. It's like what's that place in Kingdom Hearts? Bastion City, Bastion
That's
Town.
not important. Nah, just keep moving.
Should we make an analogy for our non-video game players?
All right.
Yo.
Yeah.
It's like the treehouse in any like white movie.
Word.
But no, that's
Secret-
interesting
secret
because
base.
and I guess it's probably because of like adulting, but you've definitely mentioned the fact that you really want structure. Like as free as you are, sometimes it's hard because there is no structure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like people complain that they have like really strict parents, and like I love that I was kind of like unrestricted and I could do whatever I wanted. But at the same time, I kind of I don't know. Like I haven't experienced that, so I can't really say. But like I kind of want to experience that like kind of ability to not the inability to do whatever I want and see how that would like affected me. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Nah,
like, nah, I'll handle this one. Like,
okay.
just everybody feels like, you know how like the saying like the grass is always greener on the other side, you know? It's like everyone who grows up in a super strict household, they're like, I wish I never had this strict household. I wish I was able to do whatever I want. It's like the same way with people that grow up on a non-strict household. They're like, yeah, sometimes I just wish I want things to be a little bit more structured. What could happen? What could be the world?
Yeah.
It's always like that mindset. Everybody is interested in something different from what they know, what they grew up in. That's kind of nice, like human nature in that aspect.
That is very
I
true.
fuck with it.
Because I think my case was very uncommon. Everyone else had like very strict parents. So, but it's interesting that I'm going through the same thing that people even with strict parents go through,
Mm-hmm.
where they like want to have the other perspective. That is very true. Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to talk about their childhood?
I want to talk about mine.
Childhood?
Oh, go ahead.
But
Oh, you sound like him.
I was like looking at like a book that's next to me. But
Oh yeah, we get it. You
Um,
read, man. We get it. You read.
Oh,
yeah, I was looking at the 6 books that are next to me.
the stacks,
I'm
the
like,
stacks of intellectual property.
Bro, it's like the Zoom shit. You guys watch like the news, and you'll be seeing people on Zoom, and they just got all their books in the background.
yes.
The
And
bag.
they're trying to be
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm such a reader. Like that shit blows mine, man. We know you don't read those books. All right, my bad.
That's so funny.
I just had to get that off. Just had to get
Nah,
that
I
off.
always be thinking about that. I always think about how people have like it'll be like 200 books on the shelf. And I'm just so curious. I'm like, how many of these have you actually read? Like this is a lot of books. But nah, so I think I was in like the perfect middle ground between strict parents and unrestricted parents. My parents were very much like I had rules, but they weren't like some people's parents are like you can't ever have people at your house, or like you have to, if you leave the house you got to be home by like 5:30, things like that. That wasn't me. That was like you can stay out pretty late, just like don't do drugs, or you can have people at the house, just like let us know. So I was kind of like in the middle. I don't think the restrictions I had curved me in any way. I think it was um my family situation and like how much I moved and lived with different people in my family, because I've moved houses, I think it's 8 times.
Oh Jesus.
Yikes.
um
Damn.
yeah,
That's way
that's
too
a
much.
lot. So, and I like every single time I was in a different living situation, there was like different people in my house. And so I grew to really try to be okay with wherever I am, and like my comfort space as far as living is very very small. That's why if I ever like sleep over people's houses, I know I have friends who like when they go to sleep over someone's house for like a day, they'll bring like 3 changes of clothes. They'll bring like 2 toothbrushes or whatever. They got like food packed for some reason. They have like so much. Like I can just go to someone's house with just like my toothbrush and I'll be good.
It's very true. Yeah.
And uh I don't keep like posters and stuff in my room because I'm just not used to like staying in the same room for super long. I keep everything around me super organized. So like my childhood, as far as my personality goes, I act exactly the same, because throughout like middle school and high school, where we used to go outside and like walk to the library that was like 30 minutes away. I used to do that as a kid anyway, like go outside. I would like talk to my neighbors, ride my bike. So that's not really changed, but definitely just the space in which I need to function has gotten a lot smaller. And I think, I don't know, in my eyes, I feel like that's good because I feel like I can be okay wherever I am. But it it's bad because I have felt before that, like, I've had a conversation with one of my friends about our dream houses, and she was telling me about her dream house and stuff like that, and I just couldn't picture a dream house. Or like I looked at a house and I was like, yeah, this looks cool, like I would stay here. But like nothing I looked at was like, yeah, I would love to like have a family here, blah blah blah. For me it was just like I would just like to have like a nice house with like windows or whatever, but I don't envision myself like staying there for very long.
Yeah, windows are underrated, man. Windows are underrated.
Oh, I know. Some of the houses I was in, I slept in the basement, like the rooms in the basement, so I didn't have windows.
Be waking up, just be watching my neighbors do random shit. I love it. I got an old lady that lives to the right of me. She's always like putting her clothes up to dry and stuff.
Oh my
I
gosh.
just be watching, man. Like it just looks nice. She got a little bird feeders, feeding her birds. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. I know what you're thinking.
Anthony?
Well, like, what is it? My family, I wouldn't say I had strict parents. Like, they were kind of lenient with some things. Like, my mom, like, I knew her well enough that, like, on certain days I could ask her a question and I know the answer I was going to get. But, like, beforehand, I wasn't really, like, going outside to play with friends. Like, I was more of, like, an inside person. I, like, played games on the weekend because I wasn't allowed to play them during this, like, school, like, week. And, like, I had, like, a lot of chores to do on the weekend. Most of the time, like, I cut the grass. Like, it was basically, like, I was the dad because, like, my, like, I didn't have, like, a stepdad at the time. So, like, when he came in, he'd teach me some stuff, and like I'd become like the man of the house. Basically, I would do all like of that stuff, and I don't know. I had like a personality where I still do it. I like don't talk to people. Like if I'm in a new setting, I don't talk to people unless they like approach me because it's just like I keep to myself. Like to me, it's just not that important to meet people. I wouldn't say that, but like. That's what I've got from like how I grew up. Like I wasn't really just like an outside. Like I wasn't a talkative person.
Mm-hmm.
But like once I got to know you, or you got to know me, like it was a click as soon as you understood me. Yeah, I would not stop talking. Like I can talk for a while. Like I do like to talk. Me and my sister are like kind of the same way. Like. She did her thing, I did my thing, but like we still like abide by like our parents' rules. Like we'd come back we'd at a certain time we had to come back, and like I wouldn't really complain because I was just like, yeah, it's for my safety. Certain things we weren't allowed to do, and I was just like, okay, well, there's a reason. I can't complain. I just like understood like I just didn't want to put too much stress on my mom's like mind because I knew she was dealing with a lot, having to raise 2 kids. And like have to pay all these bills and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I kind of understand you, even though I do get mad at you sometimes. I'm gonna keep it to myself.
How noble!
Very
so
respectable young man who knows how to handle responsibility.
Yeah, there were definitely times where I was just like, yo, I can't play. I got to cut grass, and y'all was just like, sis, man.
All the time, all the time.
Grass.
Yeah, almost every damn day we be cutting the grass.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'll tell you, I got a flow. I can finish that bitch within an hour.
Yeah, but your problem now is where you're like, all right, I'm gonna go make some food, and then you're gone for the rest of the night.
Oh, that.
Because you're a whole chef now, so you gotta make like 3-course
he wants to
thing.
make a whole gourmet meal to feed your family.
I gotta make some food, and then he's gone forever.
Like, plate it properly.
Hold on.
Taking pictures.
Yo, lock it in.
The thing about that was like, since like beforehand, my mom worked 2 jobs, so like it was me and my sister in the household. So she taught us like the basic stuff of how to cook. So it was usually just me cooking from me and my sister because like I got like into it, and like once she, what happened?
Sorry, quick question. What specifically like made you be the cook instead of Faith?
I don't even know. I think I just like volunteered because I just like to do things. I just like to volunteer whenever I'm like asked to do it. I'm just like, why not? But like, it was just like interesting that I can like make something for myself or just for someone else and they enjoyed it. And like, as soon as she like got rid of that first job because she met my stepdad and she didn't have to work that hard, which I was happy for. And she like had, she can be home more often for us, and she like taught me more. And I would cook like for the family, like eventually, and it was just a liking. And for when I had to choose like a career, this is like the only thing I thought of me like doing, like me like playing games, like that doesn't seem like realistic for myself because I sometimes just get bored of it and like will not do it for like a good like 3 months. But like cooking, I'm always in the kitchen. I'm always doing something in the kitchen, and I'm always trying to do something new in the kitchen, like something interesting for the family to try. That's why whenever I'd be like, yo, I gotta go cook myself some dinner, I'm going for 2 hours because I'm I'm trying to look up something new that I can try and feed myself usually, but like eventually make for like friends and family.
Copy.
Just you wait till I come back to D-Way.
Better come back with some mac and cheese.
Oh yeah,
So
I've been watching the snaps. He's been making a lot of bread type.
Oh, yeah.
meals.
I'm not gonna hold you. That should be blowing mine though, because like my roommates be coming home with food, and I got bread. Like what the fuck?
Y'all
am
don't
I
be having
eating?
the same classes.
Nah, everyone has their random classes. Like
You got bread.
I got bread first.
He got bread class.
You got bread. They got 5-star hotel meal class.
Word
You got
fact.
bread.
They be bringing home sushi, and I'm just like, yo, let me get some.
All right. Well,
Nah, you got your crumbs.
Interesting how like your upbringing kind of like tied into like what you want to do as a future career. So that's probably gonna be the next question I have. What do you want to do as a future career, and does it tie back to like how you grew up? And Roberto, I think you should answer this one.
Sure. Just because I didn't get to talk about my
I was gonna say
my
you have
upbringing.
a childhood.
Oh, did we not? Oh my god.
No, we did not.
Nah, I'm gonna just glance through this real quick.
Hey man, take
growing
your
up,
time.
yeah. Growing up, I was a like really anxious kid. Everything that I experienced, I was scared of. I didn't know why. I was just a really super anxious person. And honestly, I think it stems from the fact that like my mom, my mom has 2 kids from another guy. They're my half brothers, but I consider them like my full brothers just because I've always lived with them. But I've always felt a sort of disconnect because they had some type of feeling towards their father and how their father never was like there for them. And so they took that out on me because they couldn't take that out on my father when they got mad. Because my dad didn't play that shit, like you disrespect him is gonna be an issue. So I feel like they always took out their anger, their misplaced feelings on me. And so my mom used to go to school, like go to college when I was a little baby boy. She went back to school. And my brothers used to have to watch me, but like they was just like some sadistic ass kids as like high schoolers and middle schoolers. So they would just like, all these guys would do is just bully the hell out of me. And I was just like, I want my mommy, please come. That was like every single day, bro. And I think something like that just caused me to be like really anxious with everything. And plus, I think it's like some genetic shit that my dad has with like, I don't know any of that shit. But like I grew up to be really anxious. So I never talked to anyone in school. I never had like any friends until I came to Piscataway, which was in 3rd grade because I used to live in Plainfield.
Oh shoot, I completely forgot. Yeah.
So I came to Piscataway and like I made 3rd grade was kind of like weird. I didn't talk to anyone really because I was still like super scared. But my mom tried to like force me into many sports, like swimming, track, basketball. I did it all, and I just hated it so much. I feel like it even made my anxiety about things go up even more because I knew I was shitty at all of these sports. But like my mom's like, you gotta go out there and do it. I was like, whatever. But coming into like Arbor is when I really started to find my groove in things. And I started making a few friends. I think in fourth grade, and fourth grade was a little weird too. I'm not gonna cap, but fifth grade is where shit started going crazy. That's when I had Miss Lavoy, and I met so many people in that class, like Jarrell. Um, I was friends with like Chris Moskowitz, Jay Patel, all these goons that I don't really fuck with no more. Besides Jarrell, that's my guy. But I guess I realized that I was good at making friends, even though I never tried to do whatever in my life. I seemed to have like a good mindset for it, just because I always thought about it. Like I want to make this friend, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I never did it. But I always like conceptualized it in my head, and so it eventually became something that I was able to do well. And then I got more friends, and then uh I would say I had an identity crisis throughout my entire middle school career.
I'm sorry.
Like nah, it was pretty weird. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know what I was. I was really into like emo, like screamo stuff, and like hard rock that wasn't really that interesting. Like I like some type of rock music, but the shit I listened to that shit wasn't music in my opinion. And I just did it because it seemed like the cool thing to do.
It was what's trendy. Yeah.
But I think the fact that I had anxiety like made my drive to get more friends and have more people like me. It made it so like high that it peaked in like 8th grade, 7th grade. And then I just kind of was like, really, I don't know what I want to do with this friend shit, like becoming friends. And that's how like the minorities became a thing, or having friends is what I mean. I don't know how, if I want to be able to have friends, because I felt like a lot of people that I was friends with were like not my real friends. We didn't really have real connections.
Oh, got you.
And that's when minorities came to be kind of a thing, where me, Isaiah, Jarrell would hang out all the time.
That was pretty much the inception of it all.
Yeah, or like me, when I first met Jackson, we started hanging out all the time. And it's just like I had a bunch of friends that I wouldn't say we're in the same boat as me, but we all grew up together. And we went through the same shit in school together. We all had our family issues together. And it's like, that's how you really connect to people, in my opinion, is when you go through shit you both go through shit at the same time. You both learn shit from other things around your world. And that's how I realized like what a true connection, like a true friendship is. And I kind of like that shit, man. Like, even to this day, I don't think I could become super close with someone if I didn't spend like 3 years with them, just being around them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I need to know where you came from, how you grew up to be where you are now, to like really feel a connection to somebody. And that's why I like the minority so much, because almost everybody in here I've known for at least like 4 years, and it feels like we're all growing together. And I love that shit so much, man. Love that shit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I guess that's about it though.
Yeah, but so for those of you who don't know, Roberto is an up and coming streamer at twitch.tv/SAVBERT, Savbert.
Savbert.
I'm curious about when you decided that was something you wanted to do, because I know you enjoy playing video games, and like you, your commentary when you play games is always really funny. And so like honestly, like years ago, I always thought that just watching you play video games was like really really funny, but and I thought it was really funny that like Roberto would talk to himself while playing video games, even when nobody was around. But I'm just curious as to when you were like, yeah, I think I wanna keep doing this. Like I want like an audience all the time.
All right, bet. I don't know how to say this in a not sad way, but I grew up being really lonely all the time. So when I would play games, I would kind of just like talk to myself, like I'm like someone else was there. I would just be talking, like I would literally talk to myself like I was watching me play with me, you know? Like there's somebody sitting right next to me, and I'd just be chatting, and I think realizing I can do that with people around me, like I started doing that with actual people around me, and it seemed like people were interested in, you know, indulging in like the game and being interested in like the content and shit I'd be saying, and it's just fun, you know. I always love having I guess just a community around me, just my friends, people to chat with, because that's like how it's kind of hard to explain, but I just feel really comfortable when I have people around me just shooting the shit while I'm doing something or while anyone's doing something. But yeah, I just figured I had a knack for it because I used to do it all the time anyway by myself. And when people, it feels like we're both playing the game. When somebody's sitting next to me just chatting and they're like, hey, go over here and do this or go over and do that, I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Because like we're all taking part in the experience that is the game, but I'm just the one controlling it. And I feel like I just love doing that. And so with streaming, oh my God, it's so cool when you have somebody, even just like a random person that's just like, ha ha ha, that shit was funny. Or they'll be like, yo, go do this. And you're like, oh, okay. And then I start talking to the person, and then I figure out like they have this interesting part about them, and then I'm literally talking to them about their life while I'm sitting here playing a game. It's just so fucking cool, man. Like, I don't think there's anything cooler than that. Like, this one guy was from fucking Switzerland, man. And he was like, yeah, we don't look too good on America right now. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I don't know how people see America right now. Yeah. I know a lot of shit's going on in our country that probably makes us look like goofballs. But streaming's just such a fun way to have that guy sitting next to you while you're playing, but it's like permanent. And it's online and shit. Yeah, I love that. I just love having people around me, my buddies.
Yeah, I love sitting in the stream, because as like a mod for the stream, I can see everybody else who's in the stream, and you'll call out the fact that there are people sitting in the stream for like hours and they just don't say anything. And I remember on your very first day streaming, I took a picture because there was like a list of like 20 people who were in the stream. And I was like, I didn't even know like 10 of these people were here. Like, I don't recognize their usernames. They're not like our friends. They're just like random people who tuned in. And I'm just like, they're just watching him play.
That's cool.
Yeah, shout out to streaming, man. If there's anything I want to just grow, it would be that shit. I'm still waiting for that.
It's about to be tough. I'm like excited for that like adventure.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. You know, I'm such a little punk, bro, but there's nothing else I would love more than to just have like a big house with everybody in it, and just everybody just be chilling in that motherfucker doing whatever they want to do. And like that's my dream.
Everyone right just there. Got their like role in the house.
Yeah, that, and just like people are just living their own life, you know? Yeah. Like I could be in the same house as Daniel, but I ain't talked to that guy in like 3 days. But I just know he's just chilling there, and like
Working on
if
the
it's
stuff.
movie
Yeah, I
night, we
didn't
can
know,
all watch a
bro.
movie.
Yeah.
Think about that
Oh my
shit.
god.
Yeah.
I got my studio.
Yeah,
Roberto, he got
actually.
his little streaming set up. Anthony sleeping in the kitchen. Like, it'll be great.
Speaking of a studio, why don't you talk about your interest, Isaiah, in
Oh,
music?
Yeah.
snap. Yo, I'm hyped for this. Nah, okay. So, all right. So, as a kid, first of all, public speaking has never been an issue to me, like
Very
ever
obviously.
in life. Yeah, I've like when it comes to speaking in front of crowds, like in school for school projects, or one of my teachers. Fun fact: in middle school, you know how they would have those things where like the the grade, not the grade, but like we're in middle school and the elementary school students would come and just look at the middle school and just like or whatever.
They just
Observe,
visit.
Yeah, they really would just walk around.
Yeah, they would. So, uh, my science teacher actually came up to me one day and she was like, Isaiah, would you like to be one of the speakers in the auditorium that like talks to the elementary school students because you're so good at like talking? I was just like, oh, thanks. And then yeah, it was just that's just like evidence to me being good at speaking. But I also really like to write poems all the time going through school, but music was not part of who I was in the slightest. I didn't have like a super strong taste in any type of music. Like I didn't know artists very well. I knew songs pretty well, but like I was listening to R&B, to pop, to like dubstep,
Oh
rock
yeah.
music. I was
Ah,
kind of just
shit.
like flipping through all the time. Um, in high school, once again, I was still really good at public speaking. I would have moments, or there were a lot of group projects where my my group mates, my group mates, they didn't like to speak in front of the class, so they would come to me and be like, "Hey, we'll do the entire project, but can you present the entire thing?" And then that'll be your part. And I was just like, sure. That was like real easy to meet. But some of the projects I did, I don't know if you guys know this. Some of the projects I did in high school were raps that I wrote about my project. And I presented it and they were all ass and I hated every single one of them. Oh my gosh. Like thinking back to what they were makes me so mad. I'm like, I look like an idiot. But nah, going through high school, I still had no idea what I wanted to do. And it got to like the end of high school, and my parents were asking me, and my mom sat me down with like a list of colleges, and she was like, "You got to pick one." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to go to. I'm not going to go to. I'm not going to make you pay for school if I don't even know why I'm going there." Like that seems so illogical to me. And yeah, so my dad, he was like, "That's cool, you just have to like work, you can't sit home all day." So I would just work at a warehouse and I would come home and I was tired, still didn't know what I wanted to do, and like a year and a half goes by and I'm just like still trying to think about it. And one day in one of the warehouses I was working at, my coworker talked about an album that he really liked, and I was listening to it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good." And then there was like an empty space in the album where just music was playing, and I just opened my notes on my phone during my break, and I started like writing my own verse. And then after that day, I just kept writing like verses and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And I would like show the coworker my verses, and he was like, "Oh, you like music? Oh, I can show you some like music gear that you can get if you want to like actually make music." And that's why I have like the microphone and stuff that I do now. And yeah, I always just felt from that moment like writing verses and like singing songs and stuff like that always felt like really really good to me. So it wasn't that was only like last September, which is, I don't know, like 7 months ago, or that's further. It's like 10 months ago. But yeah, it was like less than a year ago that like I decided this. But yeah, making music wasn't what I thought about doing until less than a year ago. But I have so much fun doing it now, and I'm so dedicated, especially because people look at the things that I write and they're like genuinely impressed. And I'm just like, I like that. I'm glad that, because I know that I've listened to like other small artists just to see like how they're doing. Not people that I know, like random people. And I'm just like, this isn't very good. Like, uh, not to be rude, but it sounds not okay. So that always like makes me anxious. I'm like, I don't want people to like my stuff just because they like pity me and they're like, yeah, good job. Like, keep doing you, man. You'll get someplace. Then they turn around and like delete the entire music app. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, man. Exactly what you mean.
I'm just, as of right now, I'm just keeping it pushing. But I just wanted to say, music had nothing to do with like my childhood,
That's
which
kind of
is like
interesting.
weird.
That's interesting, yeah.
Man,
All
just
right, so
jumped
who's
on
next?
Yeah, who's next? Daniel. I mean, why did I ask the question and then name somebody? What about you, Daniel?
Man, I don't even know. Frick. Mine is really weird. Not weird, just I don't even understand what I want to do. Basically, I'm I'm a YouTube user. Before even I say even a gamer, I watch videos more than anything. Videos are what I love to do and watch. So since I was like super small, I used to watch like hours and hours of just videos, just random stuff, completely random stuff. I mean, sometimes it was about video games. It's about like a quarter of what I watch, but it could be just the most random things, just someone building something or just explaining something. That kind of made me delve deep into like video essays and people talking about movies and like the logical reasons for why like something is really good or for the reasons why it's bad, and just kind of like compilation videos on like scenes from movies and stuff like that. And then that kind of sparked my love to watch movies because it was like its direct connection to like just videos. Movies are pretty much the same thing, but just with a bigger production. And during high school, I realized that we had a film studies class, and man, I really wanted to take that class. So I made sure that I waited till my senior year to take it. I planned everything out so that on my senior year, during like the time where I had like the most knowledge and the most like appreciation for things, I could take it then. And like that film studies class like really changed everything. Like it changed my perspective. And I don't even know if I want to make movies anymore, but I know I want to make something. I'm not sure what that thing is, but film studies definitely helped me like through that process. Like film studies, like I was really outspoken in that class. I was really that like really brought out something in me that I knew I had and that was like shown like here and there. But at that point, I was just like, you know what? It's my last year. I'm gonna go all in, and I did. Every movie at the end, like when we had the discussion, I just go full force and go really hard on like my opinions and how I felt about it, and it made me appreciate like things even more, like really analyzing them and like really getting into like getting in depth with it, and like man, it really changed my view on like how I perceive things, and now I'm kind of at like a weird crossroads where it's just like I'm not sure if I want to create movies or I'm not sure if I just want to create something. And I'm still trying to figure that out as like that's where I'm at right now. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do, but I know I want to create some form of art. And
As a tip for that, sorry, not to cut you off, but you should start making stuff. Like even as simple as just like filming things off of your phone and just like having your friends do things.
Uh,
Just because it's hard to figure out what you want to physically be doing with yourself by just imagining a bunch of different timelines.
yeah.
But like if you can touch your toes into all these little pools, you can see which one feels the best.
Yeah, I mean,
So I would say,
that's what I've been trying to work on. That's why I got the computer. Like, the computer was like a really big investment, but it's like it's
Mhm.
gonna
yeah,
help me. It's gonna enable like the things I want to do. And that's like the main reason I did this podcast. Like, one, I want to be able to have be able to have my friends talk about things and express themselves, and the same for me. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could even do it in the first place. And inadvertently, I am creating something right now as we speak. Like, we are having a
sir.
podcast, so that's like an accomplishment in of itself. So I don't know. And then it's not so much. I gotta really just dabble with things. That's like my goal for this year. It's just like now since I have this computer, I'm just gonna like just do a bunch of different things. Like, I'm gonna like kind of work on like drafts about video essays. I just want to like just play around with like making music with my brothers and stuff like that. I just wanna like test out everything and see how I feel about everything. That's my pretty much goal for right now.
Yeah, the more you
Kind
test
of, kind
stuff
of like
out,
build yourself right now.
Yeah, exactly.
like the more you just do shit, I think the more you're gonna be inspired to do other shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful that way, because like I know exactly what you're talking about with the PC thing, and like you just want to see if you can, if you were actually able to do it with like the podcast too. Like when I bought my PC, I had to build the whole shit, and so I had no idea how to build a computer,
Yeah.
and it took like hours and hours of me just watching videos of this and this and this and going through all this shit, and like I actually fucking physically built a computer that works correctly, and it made me so like, wow, I could just do anything really.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I would be able to do this. Like something as simple as just build a computer. It seems so like out of the question for me. But it's when you approach it logically instead of like approaching it
As an
from a,
idea.
yeah, like as in like an imagination type thing, it becomes so much more possible.
Yeah.
When you think about, yeah, I just need to get these parts. Okay, I got the parts. I just need to do these things. I need to make sure I put this here, put this here, put this here. And eventually you got what you want, man. It's like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like shit really works like that.
It's just so hard because like I agree with you what you're saying. Like, once you create something, you're gonna want to like keep on creating it. But it's just like creating those first few things that's so hard, and that's what I'm trying to work. That's what I've been working on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, even as simple as just recording a little video that you're trying to do, like off of your phone,
Yeah.
because it's better to start with something bad, like something you view as absolutely terrible, than to not start at all. And uh it actually plays into like how I write my stuff because one of my friends sent me a beat and then he sent me like his verse for it, and I like recorded like 3 different verses or something, like 3 or 4 that I wrote. I was like, yeah, I don't really like all of these. I like the last one that I did though. And then he said he really liked it and he was struggling to write a new verse because he didn't like his. And he was asking me, he was like, how did you like write it so well? And my answer was just I just wrote. Like these other things I wrote were bad, but it's better to like write bad things and just improve on it than to not write anything because you know that it's not going to be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's definitely true.
That's
trial
also
and error.
that's so where like so many people like fall off too. Like I used to think things were impossible because people would tell me shit is impossible. And then like you realize people are just like scared. They're scared to try something, they're scared to fail at something. And that's really what holds back like 80% of people that are like you can't do what you want to do. You have to be able to, you got to go things the not even necessarily the easy route, but the
safe route.
the route that will come to fruition. Like, I go to school for X amount of years, and then I work for X amount of years, and then eventually I'll be able to work here where I make X amount of money, and then I'm happy. That will always happen if you go in the right steps. But people don't want to be able to approach the things that don't have specific steps to get you here,
Yeah.
that may have a bit of, you will fail in this, and you have to fail in this to learn, and you have to fail in this to learn. People want to do things to the point where they never fail, so they never learn and they never get better, and they just stay at like a steady form of mediocrity is the word I want to use. Like, it's just how a lot of the people in this world work. And it's kind of shitty, man. It sucks.
It is, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's kind of nice because I can actually do shit. I just have to not be afraid to fuck up. I can do shit. It gives you more of a things are actually possible instead of never chase your dreams. You'll fail. You're supposed to fail.
Yeah, I think when Jackson spent some time at my house when he used to live with me for a bit, that was like one of the conversations that we had when he was in my room one day.
Jackson's the white. He's the only white person in the minorities. Just want to put that out
Yeah,
there.
the minorities it's all people of color except for Jackson.
Yeah.
He went to Canada, so we considered him
Yeah,
a
we consider
minority.
him a Canadian minority.
But yeah, when Jackson came back, he stayed with me for a bit. But no, that was one of his conversations because he would like look at the things that I would do because it seemed, or he would look at my attitude whenever doing new things, and he would just be like, how are you so like fearless when you go into things? Because Jackson would be he would be nervous to like try new things because he's like, oh, but this could happen, and I had that same strong mentality of just like, yeah, I could fail, like that is 100% something that could happen, and I acknowledge that, but I will have so much more fun going through my life if I keep trying things that I deem as interesting and I fail, than if I don't try any of them at all and I'm like sitting there every day full of regret because I'm like, maybe I should have tried it. It's like, nah, just go for it. If it fails, pick yourself back up and try again, or try something new, but definitely don't like
Just sit there.
hold yourself back because you're afraid of falling.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And the saddest shit is like I see that within my own like personal relationships all the time. Like with my parents, I see the fear to like not want to attempt something new, the fear to not want to do what you actually love to do. And I see that and I'm like, wow, people really are 50 years old and they're still regretting stuff that they didn't do when they were 20 that they always wanted to do because they were just too scared. And like, that just sucks to always be in regret to something.
Yeah, like my mom, like when she was having like me, she didn't really have like anybody to like encourage her to do like what she wanted because she really wanted to become a nurse, and that's why she like worked in a pharmacy. So like she really liked in like learning about like what different like meds did, and like now she still like applies that, but like she kind of like regrets not being able to go into that field. Like right now, she knows like whenever we're sick, she kind of can do what she needs to do. Like I don't think I've ever been to the doctor over like something serious because she always knew like what to do. Home remedies. This is what we need. We already have this, so you can just take this. You'll be fine within a week. And of course, I was fine because like she always loved that like that med field.
Yeah.
Because like her sisters were like in it. like my two aunts are like nurses, and my mom would have probably been a third one, but she just didn't have like that push because she had to like take she was coming a second child. I was coming along, and my sister was already like born. She just
Mm-hmm.
didn't have that.
Can I ask a question? I wanna.
Yeah,
Do you guys like? Do you guys have your parents that have like aspirations? Like, did your parents have aspirations that were cut short because they had kids? Like, did that happen to you guys?
I don't think it's because she was having me. It was like I think because she was thinking about it even while she was having like me and she had my sister. But like I think it's like the support. Like sometimes like someone like giving you that like final push is what takes it. If that makes sense. Because my dad was like, nah, you shouldn't be doing that right now. Like he was kind of just like cutting it off right there, and like told her not to do it.
Uh-huh. So it wasn't really the fact.
It wasn't really
that
the
you two-
kids.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't the kids part.
Um,
My mom is really like determines when like she has to do something. Like I learned that about her, and I don't think us were like the problem for her like not doing what she wanted to.
for me, I don't know. I don't know what my parents' even aspirations were. I don't I don't know. We were in a weird situation. My dad just worked a lot, so he was like kind of like half there, half not. And then my mom was just always sick for some reason. Like she always had like something going on with her. Like this is even before like cancer. Like this is like she was always there was always something like the issue. Like she always was at the hospital for something. It was really annoying. So she couldn't even like have aspirations because she was constantly like not feeling good and feeling well. So I don't know. I don't even know what their aspirations were to begin with. But I don't know. I was kind of in my own world at all times when I was a child. So
Nah,
yeah.
I get that.
Fair enough.
How about you, Savzayy?
My parents, I mean, they both had like issues. I just want to put it out there that I know all of my friends view me as like very well off, or I assume everyone does, especially like my parents. But my parents weren't always like that. Like I said, I moved 8 times and lived with different people. I don't think my parents. Well, my parents they reached their goals. Like my mother wanted to be a dental assistant. She wanted to be the person that like you're afraid to see when you go to the dentist's office, and they have like pliers in their hands. My dad, I still don't know what he does. I know he enjoys to code. But he works at like an insurance company or something. But like I don't know what he does travel a lot because he's like pretty high up in the company. There were like a lot of
probably
days.
like a secret agent, bro. Like I could
don't
see
know.
it. Like literally, I could see that shit. He's the
Yeah.
perfect candidate.
He's like
for
a
secret agent.
he's a nice.
Like you could ask Jackson even when he was here. Like my dad would just be away for like a week and a half or something, and he would just text us and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy food for like the next week and a half because I won't be here," and we'll just be like, "Okay." And then those would be the days when like people would come over the most, even though like people could come over when he was there. No, I would always 100% like text my dad, be like, "Is it cool if like these 6 people come to my house?" And he's like, "Yeah." But
Isaiah, you had girls over when your dad was gone? Oh my god.
yeah, is it okay if these 6 girls come over to the house? But no, I don't think to like answer your question. I don't think me being there had anything to do with like my parents' setbacks when I was younger.
That's interesting. Like the only reason I asked the question is I see that a lot, I see, I guess maybe in my family or even in other people's families, just that people tend to quote unquote fall in love as a kid when they have their dreams, they have the things that they want to do, then they end up falling in love because I guess that's just what the right thing to do. And as a like teenager, young adult, and they get the misconstrued feeling of what love is, and they end up just having a kid for
Hmm.
whatever reason because maybe they want to push, they want to continue having a love that like fades or whatever, or they want to force somebody to stay like mentally, so they just have a kid, and then the kid in I'm sorry, I just saw something really, really disgusting. A spoiler about One Piece. I'm kind of mad, but I'm gonna keep moving. Like I'm watching the lo-fi hip hop chat, and I just saw some. Oh my god! But
Right.
people, they when they have a kid, usually the mother is like, "Yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that." And once I had a kid, and your father left me, I had nothing else to do, but I had to raise you. And, raising you, I wasn't able to travel. I wasn't able to go to school. I wasn't able to do such and such, such and such. And I don't know. I feel like if people
You-
just stopped having kids,
it's
Well,
we would
not.
I
all.
think there's like an overall shift towards like people doing that less. I feel like that was a very common thing maybe like
Yeah.
10 or 20 years ago, but I feel like it's way more common for people to be more focused on their careers now, especially like when there's like bigger movements on like women in power, so they don't
Man, I
have to
hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. um, so women are less expected by society to just stay home and just bear kids. They can actually like
Hmm.
do what they want, and hopefully that'll like make their happiness better. And then when they actually are ready to raise kids, the kids are happy as well, and they feel actually like more loved. And hopefully that actually starts fixing things. But who knows?
I think our
I
generation is going to be great parents. I really think so. Go ahead. Whoever
I
was talking, I think it was Ant, right?
I feel like when you said like some they're like yeah the dad left and like I couldn't like do like what they wanted to. I think it comes down to like sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
because I'm talking about my story. Like my mom, like my dad left, so it was just her, and she had two jobs, and like eventually, I think she just came under, not even came under, but like she would like there'd be like years, not years, but like a year where me and my sister wouldn't get anything really, like clothes, new things to wear, like we get hand me downs. I didn't really care because I was just like, you know what, you do you, and she would put like money in her savings and she paid her bills and stuff, and eventually we go on vacation. Like she tried her best to give us like a better life as well as trying to you know do what she wanted, like travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like it all really like sometimes comes down to like sacrifice. Like you don't always have to like, give like the child like all these new things. Eventually you have to like tell them like they have to understand like sometimes you can't have it.
That's true.
Yeah, and just to like I can't empathize with it, but I can sympathize. But just to speak on uh that feeling that like the mother would have, because I know Roberto, you've like talked to me about it, but I in those types of situations, it's so unbelievably important that like the child gets whatever that they're pushing towards. And I'm not talking about like new clothes and stuff. I'm talking about like their goal, like I think that's why um those types of parents will push their kids so hard to like go to school and to get jobs because it's so that they're okay, that they don't like
End up the same way.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And that's why Roberto, when you talked to me about it, I was like, yeah, just like keep doing what you're doing, like do what you want to do and do it very well. in like as a way to show your mother like you did a good job. Like
Yeah.
I'm where I want to be because you raised me right.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like really important for the children to not only like take some of that responsibility off of the mother, but to through their own actions and through their own life prove to them that all that hard work, like the multiple jobs and the saving money
The
didn't go to waste.
sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that puts me in a deeper hole because like I don't have parents anymore.
Mhm.
So like now I'm even like it makes me more lost. It's just like I don't have to prove anything to anybody. All I have to do
Daniel, from like you don't have to, but you should.
that's also very true. But
There's
that's
like I get where you're coming from, but like where you are now, they tried to lead you into a situation where you'd be fine. Like they did their best, and now it's up to you to like prove that their best was enough for you
I mean
to
I understand.
do well in life.
But like I
Like
understand what you're saying. But like I don't like I don't know. Like I get that, but like that's more of a like on a spiritual level, and maybe I should fall into that. But
you
like
should,
how I think is just more like logically, I guess, and like I technically don't have to prove anything to anybody. Like
you
in a way,
technically don't, but like again, you should
yeah.
just just like appreciation because like
I guess what
they
I'm trying to
gave you
say.
life.
What I'm trying to say, I guess, is like since there's no like physically like I can't like like look at this thing I made. Look at how many people appreciate it. I can't go up to anybody and show them that. It would have to be like on my own subconscious level. It's like, oh yeah, they would be proud of me at this moment. I would have to do that, and that's like something that like I have to just I guess like eventually deal with when it comes. But like I don't know.
I mean, you just got to find your own way to be happy with the things that you do. And I think you could just be really selfish. I think that's a way
Hell yeah.
to kind of get through that. And maybe a way to see it in a better light is that you can be as selfish as you want because you don't have to think, I have to do something for anybody, you know? I don't have to be this way to make somebody proud. I can indulge in what makes, you truly happy. And I think because you don't have anyone to kind of guide where you want to go or where they want you to go, it's harder for you to find things that make you genuinely happy for yourself. But you're gonna find that just like everyone finds whatever they like to do. But it's probably just gonna be a lot more difficult for you because it's like you don't have that basis to like, I wanna make money to give this person money. I wanna be able to take care of my parents. It's like you have to have that own personal
you gotta
drive
build
in
your own
yourself.
drive.
Yeah.
And that's way more difficult, but I think it's going to be way more like
Rewarding.
fulfilling in the end because you're not working towards anybody, and once you find that thing's going to be everything you want, and it's going to be everything for you. And it's kind of I think that's going to work out really well for you. It's just like it's going to be rough trying to get there and
Yeah.
find that.
Yeah, but you got a good circle of friends around you to keep you pushing.
That's true.
Yeah, we all live in a
Don't
house
you stress
together.
about it.
That's true.
In a house.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Live
hit
in
you
a
a
house
couple
together.
times playing around.
Now you're thinking with portals.
You know what crazy
I
that
have
would be? Oh wait, I'm sorry. You know what
Nah,
crazy
go
that
ahead,
would be?
bro.
Like when people make like YouTuber houses, it's usually like revolved around one thing. It's just like, oh, we got the OTV OTV
Yeah, they're all
house.
streamers.
They're all streamers, and then we got like the FaZe house. They all play Call of Duty. You know, interesting it would be if you have like a house, but like everybody does like their own thing. Like Roberto's the streamer. Anthony's out here making like food videos, like Joshua Wiseman or like Binging with Babish, and I'm out here like making like video essays, and freaking Isaiah's over here making music, and we're just executing it all at a pretty good level. Like that would be really interesting. Like that's something that nobody else does. I feel like.
Yeah, I would say that's like the least practical thing ever in this world.
Yeah.
Like there's, I can't even think of how that could work. But like, damn, I want to try. Low-key.
I know, right?
Yeah, so impractical. Like it seems like it would work not so well, especially like the noise. In modern houses, the walls are so thin. So like hearing, I don't want to like make a song and in the back of the song hear Roberto screaming because he just died in Dark Souls. But like it would be a lot of fun. Like that would be sick.
Right?
And especially the money aspect. Like we were talking about that yesterday. I think it was Rashid who brought it up. He was, because we're all getting into like the podcast and we want to start everybody making moves for themselves, but like still want to be able to show like minorities is us, but we're all making like our personal moves towards our personal gains. And he was talking about how if we did like all make a company together or have a successful brand together or even live in a house together, how would money come into the aspect of like it would probably fuck everything up. And because so many people have been to that point where they got a brand, they got a community, and they let money like fuck everything up. Because one person's like, I work harder than all of you, so I should get more money. Or I have this thing, so I should get more money than you. And then someone's like, no, I should have more money than you. And then money breaks the whole relationship up. And I'm kind of interested in see how that would happen if one of us were to get mad bread.
I feel like I think we're like a good enough group to where it could happen, but it most likely won't. Like I'm trying to compare this to when we like try to eat all together and like try to order a pizza.
Oh God, don't. That gets heated quick.
Exactly.
That's proof.
That pizza's like it's like $25 and y'all still complaining
until like say Andre wants some cinnamon buns or something, and then like it fucks everything up. Some cinnamon sticks.
Let me get cinnamon twist. Oh, I paid for cinnamon twist. I don't need to pay for this pizza. And then he ends up eating 4 slices of the pizza anyway.
Wait.
Like,
that problem is because we always had cash. I feel like Venmo, like we haven't done that since like a really long time ago, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like we could use Cash App and Venmo now, so that shouldn't be a problem anymore. It's like, I want Cinna Sticks. All right, give me $7. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh,
like me,
right,
I don't really care about them. Like, I somewhat care about the money, but at the same time, like, if I'm gonna pay for you, I'm okay with it. Like, to me, it's not real. Like, if I know you, money's not that important to me. Like, I'll spend my money on you. Like, like that money dispute. Like, yeah, as long as it's okay. Like, as long as I'm okay with like the amount. Like, I don't know. Like, if I'm getting the lowest amount out of everyone, I'm okay with it because it's just like I know you have my back if I need something, and I have your back if you need something. Yeah, that's how I feel.
That's how it should be. Because like, I feel like if we all lived in that same house, and let's say the Minorities brand was making its own money, like outside of like the streaming, the cooking, the movies, the music, I think that should be completely just residual. Like that's extra money. I feel like that shouldn't be the money that's like letting us survive.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So like that would be my argument in the future if later like something happened with the Minorities. I don't know. Roberto made like a funny video and he was like, I want like 90% profit because I was the star of this video for Minorities. That would be my argument. I'm like, you don't need this money. Like you've been taking care of yourself with this. If you need extra money, like you'll get your cut of the Minorities profit or whatever. But like if you need extra money, you can just ask us for money, but don't be like, I deserve this.
I have an issue with that Because what if
already
somebody
starting.
they like love a rich lifestyle? They get a little bit of bread and then they go buy themselves. They go lease a Lamborghini and now they got to pay for that shit every month.
Well, that's their own.
That's
now
them.
it's like,
They can
but
lease
I'm
their
saying
own
like
Lamborghini.
then when you do that, it's like someone's like, yeah, I need to stay at this amount of money. I have to get this amount of money. I need this amount of money. And you're like, you don't need that shit. But you can't tell somebody they don't need something.
No. They can live that lifestyle. Make the amount of money that you need to live that lifestyle. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to make a certain amount with music and then bet like my profits on the minorities, whatever we do with that brand, and be like, yeah, the extra money I get from that is gonna make me live my lifestyle. If I want to live that lifestyle, I will make that money on my own. I'm not going to use the minorities brand for my individual lifestyle.
That's just extra income.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like
It's like an
that's,
extra income.
Well, logically,
that's when you're doing too much.
like how it would
Right
work,
here.
like logistically. I think, like if we were truly trying to do this, like we would first have to establish our own brands, like our own personal brands,
Yeah,
and like
of
what
course.
we do, and create a base through that. And then once that happens, you would create the minorities like house, right? And everyone would be like kind of like surviving off themselves. But then we make
Rashid
like
would create it.
a separate brand and identity, the minorities, which is all of us combined. And I feel like that would be equally split amongst everybody, except maybe like whoever's like managing it the most would probably get like maybe a little bit more
hmm
because they're like managing it. But if like everyone's pretty much contributing the same amount of effort, like at a relative scale. But obviously if there's like one person that's like, all right, we should make this video and create this whole schedule and all that, they should probably get a bit more than everybody else. That's
Exactly.
probably my like mindset of it. So I guess
Yeah.
they're getting paid more.
That's not your income. Like that's the minorities brand income. So if you want to live a high income life, then you better as an individual brand make a high income.
And I feel like a lot of like anything that would come into minorities brand and not into our own brand would go back into minorities brand. So like let's say like we make like
That's a good idea.
whatever amount of money that would go into like rent, and so that us ourselves don't have to pay as much into rent. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
I think we're
It's
getting
like
a little
completely
inside
different.
baseball, a little too inside baseball here. Just a bit.
Just a bit. Just a bit. Hey man, talk about our dreams, you know, our ideals. It's
Yeah,
a
I like
fun
that,
thing to do.
Alright,
No,
so
I think that would definitely be worth it. Like a try, even if it failed. You know, like our lease only lasted like 6 months before something didn't work. I think that'd be a good experience.
yeah, honestly, I'm fucking down for it, bro. I'm
Same.
so down to just do something stupid like that. But just like
If it
you gotta-
works,
if you learn
we can
from
buy a
it,
house.
I mean, facts.
You gonna have
That
that
way
man
we
Rashid build the house?
I was
You
thinking
see
that the entire time.
With
As
his
soon as
bare
I said
hand.
thick walls, I was like, oh god.
For those who don't know, Rashid is a aspiring architect to be. He's doing real good at his job. Shout out to Rashid.
Rashid. Rashid's the man, I swear to God.
Yo, he's literally the man.
Yeah, Rashid's nickname is Man. It's just the man.
That was
Hilarious.
his
That
like
was
old like,
awesome.
nickname. You don't call him that no more.
Bro, every time I call him that, he gets so awkward. He's like,
Yeah.
why'd you just call me that, bro?
Hey, yo, man.
All right, so I have a question for you guys. Do you guys believe that like manifestation is a thing, and the art of just manifesting something to existence?
Absolutely not.
Yes.
Oh.
Go ahead, Dan Ban.
I'm of the.
Go ahead.
I'm like. I don't know. I don't want to sound condescending, but I think I think in a logical way, and what people confuse is manifestation, and I've said this before. It's not manifestation. I think it's inevitability. The inevitability of probability, and how like anything that is like possible will most likely happen. Like the odds of like all of us coming together, it's not that crazy. Like we all like lived in New Jersey for like a considerable amount of time, and we were all like we all exist in a time where video games are just exploding. So the odds of us all liking video games is pretty high, and I feel like just all of us meeting together and like doing all this is just it was an inevitable thing that was to come. So like, that's like my thought process when it comes to like things happening, and I don't believe in this. The idea is just like if you really hope for something to happen, that it will happen. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
too idealist and too dreamlike to me, and that makes me uncomfortable too.
All right. I
I
so
could.
I understand what Daniel's saying, that you can't like just sit there and hope. Obviously, that's not going to make things appear in front of you. Um, I don't like go with the it was inevitable that we were gonna meet. Uh, just because like I don't know, it's just that's like the past. I think we just happened to meet and be good friends. But like if you went to the time before we met, I don't think you could say it's inevitable that we're going to meet, because we might not. But because that's like saying it's inevitable that we're going to get this minorities house. And once again, we might not. But in the future, if we have the house, that kind of goes against what I'm saying. If you're like, it's inevitable that we got this house, because we might, as of right now, we might not get it. But the manifestation thing, um, I just think it's healthy for people to like think of it. It's not healthy to sit there and hope and wait. That's very bad. That's going to make you lazy, and every like setback that you get hit with is probably not going to feel too good. um but the idea of just like saying something out loud, like I'm going to get this, or writing it down on a whiteboard or post it and just looking at it every day and being like, I'm going to keep working towards this, like a fitness goal. You're like, I'm going to lose 30 pounds, and you're like working out every day. You're like looking at the scale. You're like, yeah, I'm going to lose 30 pounds in the next month. I got it. I got it. I got it. um I just think it's really healthy, because if you think about things the right way, and instead of hoping, you're like, I'm going to do this, this is what I'm working towards, then that type of mindset helps you go towards whatever you're doing. Like the probability of you reaching that goal gets so much higher because you keep saying it to yourself and because you keep working towards it. So
Mm-hmm.
to go along with what Dan said, hoping, sitting there and hoping is bad, but hoping and working towards something is good,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Like
could
don't just
concede.
hope.
I could concede like that, like having like a image about your future and like kind of manifesting is like convincing yourself that like, all right, I could do this. Like, let's do this, or like consistently like saying in a repetitive like fashion that you are going to do something will like probably most likely like increase your chances of like actually doing that. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, sitting around and not believing you can do something, you're not going to do it. So I guess
Exactly.
if there's like an opposite form of manifestation of like
Wouldn't
it,
that be
it
like
does truly exist,
manifestation?
because if I think I'm not going to do something and I don't work towards it, and or I actively work towards against doing something, and I won't do it. So I think if that exists, which every most people can agree that does exist, then the other opposite form of it, which is working towards something that you will do, it should exist as well. If you think about it that way. But the world's weird. So maybe things don't exist. Maybe things won't. Who knows?
Anthony, you got anything to say about that?
Oh shit. Um,
Anthony was
um,
writing down his goals as we were speaking.
I
Cookbook.
honestly like, I honestly like don't know, because like this is like a topic that I've like never even like discussed like with myself. I don't know. There's just like some things I just never like.
Think of.
I'm learning as you guys are talking about this, so like I don't really think I can like say anything about it.
Uh-huh.
If that makes
Gotcha.
sense.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
it's just like like my idea about it is really against the hoping, because when it comes down to it, it is kind of like it's a mix of like how hard you work for something and like the probability of it happening, because like I don't know, you might work for like a car and then you like go to the bank and then the bank gets like robbed or something. But nah, it's just I think the whole like manifesting your dreams, writing down your goals, overall it's healthy. It's just it helps people work towards their goals if they can like say that they're gonna come true. So I think it's good if people do that, because I think everybody should strive towards their goals rather than just keeping it in their head and then like constantly second guessing yourself. If you write it down, you're not gonna write down the second guessed thought along with the goal. Feel me?
If I'm
Yeah.
gonna say something about it, it's like you can write down your goals and you can like work to achieve it, but like somewhere down the line you might change that goal like completely. It's not inevitable that like you're gonna do like a specific thing. Does that make sense?
Of course. But that change isn't gonna feel like a setback. It's just gonna feel like a
Yeah.
change. Like all the work that you put into that first goal isn't gonna feel like nothing.
Well, it
gonna
could.
feel
It
like-
depends on how drastically different the goal is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're like, yeah,
Actually, you've been working to become an Olympic athlete, and then you realize you just want to be like 300
I want to be like a hot dog contest eater. Yeah.
So stupid like that, yeah. But yeah, no, I agree.
What made you ask that question, Roberto? You got a list of goals?
Well, I'll get it. I have a picture that I saw. Joey Badass posted a little quote, and it got me thinking. He said, "Know that faith is like a seed planted in the ground. It grows after its kind. Plant the seed, or the idea, water and fertilize it with expectancy, and it will manifest." And so I guess he's just saying, you plant an idea in your mind, you put it down there, and then every day you believe for it to exist, and you believe for it that it will happen, and you work towards these beliefs. Because if you think, yeah, I know this will happen, but for this to happen, I have to do this, then you'll do this because you know it's going to happen. If you know it will happen, you'll follow all the steps needed to make this thing happen to your best ability. And, it will just manifest. And I think a lot of things in this world are kind of like that. I think manifestation is a goal that, or not a goal, it's a mindset that a lot of people have put into their art forms, into their crafts to actually make something out of it. And I think the fact that it is most widely believed to be false or just some bullshit is why I believe it to be true more and more, because the more I've been realizing in this world, in this country, I suppose, is the majority of the people and the majority of beliefs are people that work to die, and they just get up every day, go to work. They don't really have any real aspirations. They do what they have to do to survive and do what they have to do to die at a good point, whatever point they believe is a good point to die. And those people are the people that make the beliefs that manifestation is false, that manifestation is a fake thing. And I don't want to be like those people at all. So I just think, why not believe in it? Because if I believe in it, that'll make me different from those people that I don't want to be like. But I have the case of going to be a person I have the chance of becoming a person that maybe doesn't work for the things that they want to get because they believe it'll just happen for them, doesn't work as hard as they could. And that can make me become like homeless or super lazy and not have anything. But it also could make me become a person that could achieve their wildest dreams from doing this. And it's like a gamble, and most people don't want to take that gamble, so they don't believe in it. What I believe, like most things work in that same way. The majority of the world makes the laws on what works in this world, what exists in this world, and what doesn't. And I don't want to be like the majority of Americans, so I'm just not going to believe what the majority of Americans believe. And I think that's what how a lot of people get labeled as like nuts or like crazy, is that they just don't want to, I guess, they don't want to believe in the shit that they're being taught every 5 seconds, and that makes you crazy, makes you nuts. But you know, I think you could be a pretty cool person and believe that, and believe in manifestation, believe in things like angel numbers and just all types of crazy shit, man. That's one thing I never want to discredit anything, because I've always learned something that made me open my mind towards so much other things. For example, I thought America was the greatest country on earth, and that we were I believe that we were the land of the free, home of the brave. We were the people that every other country wanted to be like, because that's what I was told every single day by my Pledge of Allegiance, by the news, by history. And when you look into real history, that you have to go out and look for this real history that shows you America isn't the greatest country, that America did some really, really terrible things to get to where they are now.
True.
And I could have went through my whole life without knowing that. So what else could I go through my whole life without knowing that they're telling me,
I don't agree with that
books are telling me.
necessarily.
All right.
Because
I
I feel like there's a pretty decent like logical step that you could take to understanding why our educational system is like that. Like we're trying to prop up like the America and like American values. So obviously we are gonna change what we teach our children. Like we're not gonna teach them like all the atrocities that we've done, or like we're not gonna put them in like such a bad light that we like kind of consider it as a bad thing. But when you talk about like angel numbers or like astrology, I don't see how you could take like a logical step towards like thinking that as a legit thing. Like I don't know,
All right.
I can't see that.
The
Like-
reasoning for that is because a lot of people who believe in that shit, they believe that logical things are also something that they've been like propagandized towards. Like things have to always have a understandable reasoning for this and that. People think that that's also something that we've been told just to believe, so we'd be more sheepish, that we'd act more like a sheep, that things can, in reality, things can exist that make no sense to the human understanding, but that's not something that we are told,
I don't necessarily think I agree with that because
yeah, okay, go ahead.
because I understand this idea of just like government tyranny and how they want to brainwash things, but there's also like a lot of like I don't know, like there's many like associations that are not like really bound by what's it called, by countries or like by like certain like institutions. They're like bound by like what they want to prove. They aren't trying to push anything. They're just trying to find information in of itself. They don't have any motivation. Obviously, like we have like certain like things like the government that obviously want to push something, but I feel like there's also other institutions that are not trying to do that. They're trying to like be as logically sound as they possibly can. And I don't want to buy into the idea that everything isn't real or everything is like just trying to make you think in a certain way. I feel like you could think like that to a certain extent about certain things, but to have that entire framework about the world, I feel like there's no logical step you could start to make with that mindset, because like everything you try to like step towards is just going to be false. And
I
feel
just
like,
want I want to cut you off real quickly, real quickly. I'm sorry, but this lo-fi stream, the name of the song is called Idealism, and the name of the band that made it is called 2020. Just and it just popped up out of nowhere.
Was that shade?
I
Was
think
that
that's
shade?
really relevant to the conversation right now. That's all I want to say.
Wait.
And that's angels right there, right there. It's the angels.
Yeah, no, but would it your like perspective be more idealistic than mine? Like mine is trying to like look for like logical things, but your
Mhm.
ideology is kind of like looking like, oh, we can't explain this, so it must be
Yeah.
something. Like we can't. I don't understand this, so it must be something that's unexplainable, rather than like something that you just can't understand yet, because you have to like you need other variables to understand it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
I think
absolutely understand. But like, um, so think about this. Like, why do people exist? Why does the world exist? Why do anything exist? You could say there's a logical explanation for that, or you could have a really, really unlogical explanation for that. And both of them kind of have the exact same possibility of existing.
I don't
Like,
agree. I'd have to strongly disagree.
all right, that's fine.
I understand what you're saying, but like, us humans and us like sentient beings, we're put in such a garbage situation that we are so lucky that we even exist, and that since we're so lucky, we think it has to be something so divine for us to be here. But it's not. We just got so lucky to be here that like all the set of combinations were aligned for us to be here. It wasn't like some like god like tier being that brought us here. It was just how stupidly lucky it was for these particles to move in such a way that would hit other particles, and then like us to be in a perfect angle so that the sun won't kill us and it could be good for like it to sustain life. We just got lucky. And like,
Lucky.
yeah, we just got lucky. That's pretty much it.
well
I
to
go ahead, Isaiah, because I've been talking too much.
to get back on track a little. I think that um nah. So the whole like believing in something or whatever. So one of the things that Daniel pointed out first of all was that if you like believe in a lot of that, then you will kind of live your life not accepting anything around you, even if there is like a logical explanation. Um, I think that the extremes of both of those sides are really bad. Both of those sides. I think if you're like, yeah, every single thing is man-made, or if you're like, yeah, every single thing down to, I don't know, the reason I tied my shoe this morning was from some spirit. Those are really bad because you'll never accept either side. Finding your little middle ground there uh, would be fine, I guess.
I
But like as far as
no,
nah,
sorry,
nah, nah.
continue.
As far as believing in something, well, first of all, either side is okay. Just want to point that out. Doesn't matter what anybody believes. Whatever pushes you to be the best person you can be
That's
at
true.
the end of
That's
the
true.
day,
That's something
it
I
is
will
okay.
die by. Like if
Like I don't care what you believe. That's why like I asked one of my friends about her like tarot cards and about zodiac signs or whatever, because like I don't study astrology, but she's like super happy, and I'm not going to like tell her nah these things are wrong, blah blah blah. I'm just like, yeah,
yeah,
her studying what those things do makes her a better person. So who am I to like shut that down just because I don't believe the same thing?
yeah. I want to preface by saying I completely agree with what you just said. Like, do like whatever you want. Like I'm not the one to like trash anybody for like believing what they do or like doing the things they do. Like if it makes you happy, just go for it. Like it doesn't matter like at all. It's just if we're talking about like how we should observe the world. That's what I kind of want to contest it a bit. But like overall, hey man, do what you want.
I
But
think the way people view the world has a lot to do with how they approach things. Or just like I know specifically for me, it's me viewing the world in a less logical standpoint, a less like I exist for no reason other than uh, chance event, few chance events. It has caused me to appreciate my life way more, believing that there is there is some goal that a human being should try to aspire for throughout their entire life. There's something that we are looking for, something that we're being missed out on, and I just want to be able to learn more and like I don't even care what's right at the point. It's like I just want to hear what the world, what anybody can convey in their heads to explain this world. And like I just always want to hear whatever anyone else has to say next.
yeah,
And
so sorry, not to
go
cut you
ahead,
off,
go ahead,
but
Schlein.
like that's the point I was trying to make. So Daniel and Roberto, you both clearly are thinking two different things, or like the way that you're okay with whatever. But like Roberto, you're saying that you want to study these things because it's like the opposite of what everyone around you kind of views, just like the American history and how like yeah, America's great, but it's not actually great, or like the people who are stuck in their like 9 to 5s all their life, they're like, yeah, be safe, and you're like, nah, I want to do the opposite of what these people are thinking so that I don't end up like them. Uh, that's totally cool. And Daniel is like logical. Uh, everything makes sense. There's like a reason for this. Blah blah blah. Those two things, the importance. So my issue with your guys' like debate is that who cares if either of you are right? Um, the importance is, does your idea of how things work help you move forward in life? Like Roberto will not move forward in life if he sticks to the super like, yeah, there's a reason I'm trapped in this box, like take specific steps, because that's not him. He likes to expand his mind, and that's going to further him in the future, whereas Daniel does not want to do that. Like he doesn't take part in that because it might not be true,
Um,
but
Objection,
that's
Your
not
so
Honor.
yeah,
keeping you from moving
I
forward.
kind of have an objection towards that. I understand what you're saying.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I understand what you're saying, and that's completely true. That some people need to look at the life at a different perspective for them to be able to do something and to continue on. But when I talk about my perspective, I feel like my perspective. Okay, hold up. Let me not word this so cynically. Um,
Cynically?
yeah, cynically.
Yeah, we
I
got it.
I think the way I think in the more logical route, not saying that all people, it would help all people, but it would help the most amount of people. If most people thought the way I did, that most people would be
Yo,
helped by
that's
that.
crazy.
And it would help, it would benefit the most amount of people if people thought like that, rather than like thinking that it's something that we can't perceive.
Bro, this is like Attack on Titan season 3. Like me and your ideals clashing. It's so cool, man. Thinking about this.
I heard it was
And
like
like
all about politics in season 3. Was that
It
is that
was.
true?
It really was.
it's so good.
Oh, that's
It's
tough.
so good, bro. Like the government
That's what
and
I'm
shit.
talking about. The like the it doesn't matter if that's correct or not, as long as you can keep pushing. That's
hmm
what's important, because our topic, or like where we drifted off, was the beliefs thing.
Manifestation.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's like you can, the manifestation thing might not work, it may work, but that's not how that works. It's not right or wrong. It's like
Yeah.
it might not work because it doesn't work for you, or it might work because it works for this other person.
Yeah, but
That's
like,
why I'm like,
that's looking at things like in a macro level. Like for this individual, it works. But if we're talking about like thousands to millions of people, if they're like choosing either the logical route or like for
That's how they live.
I feel
Oh,
like the
sorry.
people that would benefit the most out of it were people that would think about things more logically. You get what I'm saying? Like I understand that like it is possible to like succeed when you're thinking. I need a name for your ideology, like what that we're trying to represent.
no, I understand what you're saying. Like it would help a good majority of people, but uh, uh, I don't know. It would just like the whole like everybody would do better if this just kind of doesn't work super well individually because everybody's different. I understand what you're saying, and it might be right. Is what I keep trying to say. Like I'm not telling you you're wrong, and I'm not telling Roberto that he's wrong. Like I don't care who's right or wrong. It's just like I care about one person at a time. I don't care about like this whole group. Like if I was teaching 10 people how to move forward in life, I would talk to them individually and help them individually move forward in life. I wouldn't be like, okay, we're going to do the logical route because I feel like that would help all of you move forward. It's like, no, I'm going to see how they all feel as a single unit.
Though that's in a belief that you're taking into like the idea that those people want to think for themselves and those people want to expand their knowledge more than completing what they want to do and just like surviving and living a happy life. Like the people that want to think more are the people that just like I guess they want less than to just be, or they want more than to just be content and just be happy, and or even they just want different shit. People
But like,
some people just want to be different,
I
and they
understand
really
that.
strive to be different. But there's a lot of people that have like their personal stuff in life that makes them so just like, I want to be alive. I want to be able to feed my family every day. And those are like the people that the majority of the world is filled with, because there's so much strife that goes on in the world. People don't have they don't have the luxury to think about existentialism and stuff like that. They don't have that because they have to go to work every day and feed their family.
Yeah,
Like yeah, go ahead.
I guess we're arguing scope
Yeah.
more than anything. My scope
Mhm.
is like the everyman. Like I
You're
feel like
the world leader
yeah,
in this world.
yeah, I feel like everybody should take the logical step. I think most people should be going to college. Most people should be taking 9 to 5 jobs, and like most people should be like spending their money wisely and not like kind of risking it all for like some sort of dream. I feel like most people should be doing that, and I feel like if like people were to do that, they would be more happy than to strive for their dreams at times. I don't know. I don't know. But that's just me.
Yeah. It's nice though. We could have this conversation. Different mindsets, different ways. But, we're still the guys. Still the guys at the end of the day.
True. Hey
I
man,
just lost 3 of my friends, but
Anthony,
Nice.
you got anything to add before we wrap this up?
Nah, nigga.
What you be thinking about, Anthony?
Yeah, come on. Tell me what feels
I'm
right
just-
to your heart.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
everyone wants to go to culinary school.
well, like, I think you just like go as like go by like the I don't know, like go with the flow. That's how I feel. Like, yeah, everyone needs to go to college school. Everyone should know how to cook. Obviously, I think it will better themselves. But like, I usually just like kind of go with the flow. That's why I've been silent this entire time, because it's just like I haven't like thought of it like worldly like that.
Hmm.
That's just the person I am.
Yeah, there's just people are just different like that, and that's why I think it's so cool. Some people just be chilling, just be wanting to do what they doing.
It's true.
Like I
Kind of
am
fucking.
chilling.
Man, I respect that so much. I wish I could do that. Honestly, I really wish I don't know. I'm just constantly bored. It's miserable.
Be thinking about
I
the
felt
textures of the
that.
food you be consuming. Triggering the fuck out of you, huh?
Phew. Bro, when I'm eating ice cream and then something crunchy comes out of nowhere, I get so mad. Oh my god, oh my god. There should be
Bro,
nothing
what?
crunchy in ice cream.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
You're talking about like chocolate chips in your ice cream?
Yeah! Oh my god, it's so annoying! That gets me so mad. It's just like, oh man, having a nice, like, silky treat and then crunch
Silky.
out of nowhere.
Silky treat.
Oh
What how
man.
happen if you like choose the ice cream?
Huh?
Can't you like just choose not to have the crunchy things in your ice cream?
Well, actually, you're right. But no, but like sometimes
What?
I go through life like just eating random ice cream. I don't know. It just comes out of nowhere.
Yo, that's a great way to explain life, man. Sometimes you just go and eating random ice cream. You don't get to choose.
So true, so true.
Gotta take what you get sometimes.
Yeah. Try new things out. See if they're crunchy or not. If they're crunchy, just throw it out. You know.
Yo, wait, actually, I just wanna just because like you made it like a sentence, I just wanna say Amir, another one of our minorities, real quick. I saved like a note in my phone of something he said a while ago when he just wasn't feeling too good. And he said, every time I think I'm doing good in life, I eat moldy bread. It was just the saddest thing I've ever heard from him. Like, I just felt really bad. That was it, though.
Oh, that's a good way to end it.
All right, so thank you, Roberto and Anthony, for joining the first
Yes, thank
episode
you,
of
thank
the
you.
Minorities podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Same. It was fun. No, I was listening
Yeah.
for like the other half.
Shooting the shit, man. I like shooting the shit.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's a learning experience for everyone here.
Yeah.
This is the
Word.
episode where I'm learning.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for hosting most of it, Isaiah. I'm really a little scared to be a co-host, but I'm trying it out, and I'm really proud that you proud and happy that you took the initiative on this one. So thank you.
I know.
Whoa! Whoa!
Yo.
It's like, nah, thanks, man.
Of course.
And thank you all for listening to us talk for like 2 hours. And we'll be right back after this commercial.
Is that how we're gonna end it off?
Yo, end it. Just end it.
Cut the
Just end
cast.
it.
Cut the cast.
Man, it's like